Today, we are going to discuss 7 factors of enlightenment, Sapta Bojjhanga, in Theravada Buddhism. Now, Lord Gautama Buddha lived and taught in India during the 6th and 5th century before Christ. The Buddha gained enlightenment as a Samma Sambuddha while meditating under a tree in a place called Bodh Gaya, India. Through meditation, Buddha realized the Four Noble Truths and the path of liberation from suffering. Having gained enlightenment as a Samma Sambuddha, Buddha decided to teach the Buddhist doctrine and the path of liberation to others so that they can also cultivate the same path and liberate themselves from suffering. So, at the deer park in a place called Varanasi in India, the Buddha delivered his first sermon called Dhammacakka Pavattata Sutta, meaning turning of the wheel of truth, to 5 ascetic companions who had supported the Buddha during 6 years of his struggle to gain enlightenment. The 4 noble truths that the Buddha realized are the truth of universal suffering, dukkha satcha, truth of the origin of suffering, samudaya satcha, truth of the cessation of suffering, nirodha satcha, and the truth of the path leading to the cessation of suffering, magga satcha. Now, the path of liberation that the Buddha discovered during enlightenment is the Noble Eightfold Path. The Noble Eightfold Path has 8 factors: right view, samadhi, right intention, samma sankappa, right speech, samma vacha, right action, samma kammanta, right livelihood, samma ajiva, right effort, samma vayama, right mindfulness, samma sati, and right concentration, samma samadhi. Now, when one cultivates the Noble Eightfold Path successfully with diligence, one can gain enlightenment and the state of Nibbana through 4 progressive supramundane stages. The first stage is stream enterer, Sotapanna. Second stage is one's returner, Sakadagami. Third stage is non-returner, Anagami. And the final stage is Arahant. And this Buddhist path of liberation is open to anyone. Anyone can cultivate the path and liberate themselves from suffering, but one needs to work with determination and diligence. In a number of discourses, the Buddha has stated that one who is cultivating the Buddhist path of liberation needs to cultivate 37 positive mental qualities in one's mind in order to successfully attain enlightenment and the state of Nibbana. And in the Pali language, they are known as Bodhi Pakya Dhamma. Now here, Bodhi means awakening or enlightenment. Pakya means related, and Dhamma means requisites or qualities. So they are 37 positive mental qualities that need to be developed in order to attain awakening or enlightenment. Now, these 37 factors of enlightenment are divided into 7 groups: 4 foundations of mindfulness, 4 types of right effort, 4 bases of mental power, 5 spiritual faculties, 5 spiritual powers, 7 factors of enlightenment, and the Noble Eightfold Path. The 7 factors of enlightenment, Satta Bojjhanga, are mindfulness, Sati, investigation of Dhammas, Dhamma Vichaya, energy or effort, Virya, rapture or joy, Piti, tranquility, Passaddhi, concentration, Samadhi, and equanimity, Upekha. Now, the first factor of enlightenment is mindfulness, Sati. Now, mindfulness is mindful awareness to one's experience from moment to moment in the immediate present without reacting or judging. And that means full awareness of what is happening right now, not paying any attention to what happened in the past, which is already gone, or to what is going to happen in the future, which is yet to come. Now, as a factor of enlightenment, one needs to maintain mindfulness throughout one's waking hours. Now, as a factor of enlightenment, mindfulness plays a central role among the 7 factors, because mindfulness is essential for the other 6 factors to develop. And it also has the ability to maintain a balance, a proper balance among the other 6 factors. Now, when one is mindful, it helps one to maintain equanimity to various sense objects that one receives through the 6 internal sense doors of the eye, the ear, the nose, the tongue, the body, and the mind. And when one is mindful, one will not react to pleasant experiences with craving or to unpleasant experiences with aversion or ill will. Now, in a discourse called Satipatthana Sutta of the Majjhima Nikaya, that's a collection of the Buddha's middle-length discourses. The Buddha has described 4 foundations of mindfulness. They are contemplating the body, Kayanupassana, contemplating feelings, Vedananupassana, contemplating the mind, Chittanupassana, and contemplating the mind objects, Dhammanupassana. Now, the second factor of enlightenment is investigation of Dhammas, Dhamma Vichaya. Now, Dhamma Vichaya is the quality of mind that can critically discriminate and investigate the true nature of all mental and physical phenomena that exist in the world. It's not an intellectual or thinking process, but through meditation, one makes an analytical and intuitive investigations of things as they happen from moment to moment. And through this analytical investigation, one gains wisdom and insight into the true nature of all phenomena. And that is, everything is impermanent, anicca, leads to suffering, dukkha, and there is no stable entity called self, anatta. Now, well-developed mindfulness factor helps to develop and progress this factor of investigation of dhammas, and in turn, investigation of dhammas helps to develop and progress the rest of the enlightenment factors. The third factor of enlightenment is energy or effort, virya. Now, effort is needed to develop and maintain all the 7 factors of enlightenment. And there are 4 aspects to right effort. Effort to prevent the development of unwholesome mental states that have not yet arisen. Effort to abandon and eradicate unwholesome mental states that have already arisen. Effort to cultivate wholesome mental states that have not yet arisen. An effort to maintain wholesome mental states that have already arisen. Now, during the path of liberation from suffering, one needs effort from the beginning until the completion of the path. Whenever one begins to cultivate a positive action, effort is required to begin that action, and that is aramba dhatu virya. Then effort is needed to sustain and continue with an action, whatever the obstacles that one faces on the way. That is nikkama dhatu virya. And effort is also required to continue a positive action until it's completed, and that is parakkama dhatu virya. The 4th factor of enlightenment is rapture or joy, piti. Now, it's not the joy or pleasure that one receives from sense objects that one receives through the sense doors, but it is the joy that arises in the mind when one concentrates the mind through meditation and when the mind is free from any mental hindrances. Now, there are 5 jhana factors, which are positive mental factors that develop when one attains deep mental absorptions called jhanas in concentration meditation. And there are 5 jhana factors that are present in the first and second jhana. And one of the 5 factors is rapture or joy, piti. The other 4 factors are initial application, vitakka, sustained application, vichara, happiness, sukha, and one-pointed sota mind, ekaggata. Now, this rapture creates a feeling of contentment and refreshment in the body and the mind. And it also has this exciting and energizing quality that helps the meditator to continue with meditation. The 5th factor of enlightenment is tranquility, passaddhi. And passaddhi is the state of calm, serenity, and quietness that naturally follows the previous factor of joy and leads to the development of concentration, samadhi. Now, the first four factors of enlightenment, that is mindfulness, investigation of dhammas, effort, and rapture, help to develop tranquility of the mind. And in the Buddhist literature, two types of tranquility are described. Firstly, tranquility of the mind, chitta passati, and secondly, tranquility of the mental qualities, kaya passati. And this tranquility of the mind has a sort of controlling effect on the mental hindrance of restlessness and remorse, uddhacha kukkucha. Now, this stage of tranquility is so calm, serene, and quiet. The meditator may even misinterpret as a stage of nibbana, and there is a possibility that the meditator may discontinue meditation at that stage. Now, the sixth factor of enlightenment is concentration, samadhi. Now, samadhi is the undistracted, unscattered, one-pointedness of the mind. When the meditator focuses attention on a single meditation object chosen out of the 40 meditation objects that are suitable for concentration meditation. Now, the cultivation of the first five factors is essential to develop concentration of the mind. Now, as the concentration of the mind deepens, the mental hindrances are gradually suppressed and the five jhana factors develop. Now, during the stage of concentration, the meditator can feel tranquility, calmness, and bliss. Through the development of concentration of the mind, the meditator is able to develop 8 deep mental absorptions called jhanas. And a concentrated mind is essential for one to develop insight and wisdom into true reality of all phenomena. The seventh factor of enlightenment is equanimity, upekkha. Now, upekkha is one's mental quality that enables a person to be non-reactive and neutral with the balanced mind in the face of positive or negative experiences. Now, the development of equanimity is facilitated by the proper development of the first 6 factors. Now, through equanimity, one is able to deal with one's experiences with people and objects with an impartial attitude, with no attachment or detachment. When the factor of equanimity is fully developed, a meditator is able to feel equanimous when one is faced with any of the 8 world conditions. And that is, one is equanimous whether one is facing gain or loss, disrepute or fame, blame or praise, or pleasure or pain. Now, the Buddha has described 2 essential factors that can help the meditator to develop the 7 factors of enlightenment. And the first factor is wise attention, yoniso manasikara. Now here, the meditator is able to apply wise attention to external sense objects that one receives through the six sense doors. In a discourse called Ahara Sutta of the Samyutta Nikaya, that is the collection of the Buddha's connected discourses, the Buddha said, when one is able to apply wise attention, then unarisen enlightenment factors will arise, and those enlightenment factors that have already arisen will develop further and reach full development. And similarly, the Buddha said, there is no other external factor than association with spiritual friends, which is more significant and helpful in developing the 7 factors of enlightenment. Now, these 7 factors of enlightenment are known to the world only when there is a Samma Sambuddha or Samma Sambuddha's teaching and the Buddhist doctrine. And among the 7 factors, there is a tendency to flow in a progression from the first factor of mindfulness to the last factor of equanimity. And each of the 7 factors facilitate the development of the subsequent factors. And when the 7 factors of enlightenment are fully developed, and that is the enlightenment and the state of Nibbana. So they are also known as qualities of an enlightened person. Thank you very much.